Assalamu alaikum to all of you. I'm Umar Qureshi from Dr. Sirajul Islam Medical College and I'm in the 4th year. I'm the team member of the Medimartt. Medimartt is a platform for the medical students. As you all know that we are regularly trying to share some short videos on different topics. So here we come with another video. This is a short video on the basics of the heart. This is the 10th part. You can watch our previous 9 parts from our YouTube channel and from our Facebook group. Okay, so let's start. As you all know that our reference book is Ekadatta, so we have inserted the page of the Ekadatta, and in our previous video we have completed till the sternocostal surface, means the small part of the sternocostal surface was covered. Now the features of the sternocostal surface and the relations of the sternocostal surface, we will cover these two topics today, inshallah. Okay, we are not covering all of the things in one video because the video then will become the lengthy. We are trying to give short videos, that's why we are covering that type of thing. Okay, so basically the features of the sternocostal surface, we already told you that this is the sternocostal surface. Okay, now let's see the features. So basically the anterior part of the atrioventricular groove passes downwards. Now what is the atrioventricular groove? I already told you that these two are the atrias and these two are the ventricles. Okay, or the groove that is separating the atrium and the ventricle is basically called as the atrioventricular groove, means this groove. Okay, this groove is called as the atrioventricular groove. So this groove is separating the atrium and the ventricles, that's why it is called as the atrioventricular groove. Passes downwards and to the right, between the right atrium and the right ventricle. Okay, means what Ekadatta is trying to say, that this atrioventricular groove, it passes downwards to the right. This is the right side. Okay, so it passes downwards towards the right side between the right atrium, this is the right atrium, and the right ventricle, this is the right ventricle. Okay, the groove lodges the trunk of the right coronary artery. So basically this is the anterior part of the atrioventricular groove. So this groove, okay, this right sided atrioventricular groove, this groove lodges the trunk of the right coronary artery. Lodges means basically it accompanies or it consists of the right coronary artery, and it's and is crossed by the anterior cardiac veins. Okay, means there are two things present in this groove. Okay, what are these two things? These two things you have to remember because it's very much important, so you have to remember. Okay, so these two things are the right coronary artery, means the trunk of the right coronary artery. Trunk means like something which something like from which the thing is starting. Okay, as we all know that a tree has a trunk. Okay, so the trunk is the main part of the tree. Okay, that's what this right coronary artery is here in this portion. Okay, so in the anterior part of the atrioventricular groove, in the right side, this groove lodges the trunk of the right coronary artery. Okay, and is crossed by the anterior cardiac veins. There are some cardiac veins present, so the name of those cardiac veins are the anterior cardiac veins. Okay, then the next point is anterior interventricular groove. Now I already told you that interventricular groove means, as this is the ventricle, this is the ventricle, so this groove is called as the interventricular groove, and as this is in the anterior portion, that's why it is called as the anterior interventricular groove. It is passes downwards, as we all can see that it is passes downwards parallel to the left border. We all know that this is the left border, so it is parallel to the left border. Okay, and meets the inferior border at the incisor apices cordis. Okay, this anterior interventricular groove, it meets at the incisor apices cordis. This is the incisor apices cordis. We already told you about the incisor apices cordis in our previous video, you can check it out. Okay, so what Ekadatta is trying to say, that anterior interventricular groove, it passes downwards just like that. Okay, parallel to the left border of the heart, and meets the inferior border at the incisor apices cordis. This is the inferior border. Okay, so it meets the inferior border at the incisor apices cordis. The groove lodges this groove. Okay, this anterior interventricular groove, this groove lodges means it consists of, or the contents of this groove, you can call it as that this groove lodges the anterior interventricular branch of the left coronary artery. Okay, So here the anterior interventricular branch, this red color artery is called as the anterior interventricular branch of the left coronary artery, and this blue color is called as the great cardiac vein. Okay, so this thing you have to remember when someone will ask you, or when your teacher will ask you that please tell me the contents of the anterior interventricular groove. So you have to tell that the content of the anterior interventricular groove is the anterior interventricular branch of the left coronary artery and the great cardiac vein, these 2 points. Then the groove indicates the anterior attachment of the interventricular septum. Okay, now your teacher may ask you that what is the attachment of this anterior interventricular groove. So you have to answer that this groove indicates, or this groove gives the attachment to the anterior interventricular septum. Okay, this thing gives the anterior interventricular septum, means the attachment to the anterior interventricular septum. Okay, same question as we discussed this about the atrioventricular groove at the right side. So your teacher will ask you that please tell me the contents of the anterior part of the, or the atrioventricular groove on the right side. So you have to answer that the contents of the right atrioventricular groove is the trunk of the right coronary artery and the anterior cardiac vein, the first point of the features. Okay, please refer. Okay, then let's move towards the relations. Now relations of the sternocostal surface, I already told you what are the relations in our previous videos. Please do all of our videos, because then only you will understand what are these terms. Okay, so relations of the sternocostal surface are, the first relation is it is covered by the 3 layers of the pericardium. I already told you that there are 2 main layers of the pericardium, then there are subdivisions in that. Okay, so this sternocostal surface is covered by the 3 main layers of the pericardium. Okay, 3 layers of the pericardium. Then the next relation is it is like the posterior surface of the body of the sternum and 3rd to 6th costal cartilages. Okay, we know that sternum is present just like that. Okay, so sternum is present just like that. So this is the xiphoid process, this is small portion xiphoid process, this is the body of the sternum. So what Ekadatta is trying to say, that posterior surface, as this is the anterior surface, so that sternum will be like you can call it as the posterior surface of the body of the sternum. Okay, so this is the body, so posterior surface of the body of the sternum and 3rd to 6th costal cartilages. As we all know that at the body of the sternum only 3rd to 6th ribs are present. Okay, but before ribs means rib start from here. Okay, rib starts from here, but this portion is called as the costal cartilage because it is a cartilage type of thing. Okay, that's why it is called as the cartilage. So 3rd to 6th costal cartilages are present. So what Ekadatta is trying to say, that posterior surface of the body of the sternum, this one, and 3rd to 6th costal cartilages of both sides. Here also 3rd to 6th costal cartilages, and here also 3rd to 6th costal cartilages. 2/3 of the heart on the left side of the middle line. This point you don't have to understand right now, it's not that much important. Then the next point is anterior margins of the both lungs. As we know, the lungs are present, so the relation of this sternocostal surface is like anterior margins of both lungs, as the lungs are present just like that. Okay, just like that. So this margin, okay, this margin is called as the anterior margin. Okay, this margin is called as the anterior margin of the lungs. So what Ekadatta is trying to say, that the third relation is the anterior margins of both lungs and pleura. When we say when we say lung in anything, then we have to add pleura with it because pleura is attached with it. Okay, that's why anterior margin of both lungs and pleura intervene between the anterior thoracic wall and pericardium. Okay, this point is like just understand that this basically we have to say that anterior margin of the lungs, both lungs and pleura, mainly this is the point. This actually it is like telling about the lungs, that it is intervening between the anterior thoracic wall and the pericardium. That's the point, that's not important. Then the next point is below the left 4th costal cartilage, the pericardium comes in direct contact with the left half of the lower 2 pieces of the body of the sternum due to the cardiac notch of the left lung below the left fourth costal cartilage. Okay, as we all know that here is this is the left part, actually this is the right part and this is the left part. Okay, so and here understand that here is the sternum, okay, and this is the fourth costal cartilage. So below the left, and this is left part, so below the left fourth costal cartilage, the pericardium comes in direct contact with the left half of the lower two pieces of the body of the sternum. So this sternocostal surface or the pericardium over here, present over here, it comes in direct contact with the left half of the lower two pieces of the body of the sternum. Actually, body of the sternum consists of different pieces, that's called as the sternabrae. Okay, we already discussed about this thing in our previous video of the body of the sternum. So this thing, like sternum is just like that. Okay, and it consists of different it's like small bodies. So those bodies are called as the sternabrae. So what it is saying that this pericardium, this is the pericardium, the pericardium comes in the direct contact with the left half of the lower two pieces. It comes in the direct contact with the left half of the lower two pieces. This is the left half, okay, lower two pieces of the body of the sternum due to the cardiac notch of the left lung and the deviation of the left pleural sac. Okay, this, for this thing you have to understand the lungs. Just right now please understand that this pericardium comes in direct contact with the left half of the lower two pieces of the body of the sternum. Why? Because there is a cardiac notch present in the lung. Okay, lung is like that. Okay, so as lung is fixed, as heart is fixed to this part of the lung, so here a cardiac notch is formed. Okay, here cardiac notch is formed. So that's the point, that due to the cardiac notch of the left lung and the deviation of the left pleural sac. Okay, now this area of heart and pericardium uncovered by the lung and pleura is known as the cardiac dullness. Okay, what this point is trying to say, that this area of heart and pericardium uncovered by the lung and pleura is known as the cardiac dullness. The dullness overlies the anterior surface of the right ventricle. Okay, as this is the cardiac notch, so just right now we discussed that this pericardium is like direct in contact with the lung. So this portion of the heart and pericardium is called as the cardiac dullness. Okay, the dullness overlies the anterior surface of the right ventricle. Okay, means the dullness only covers the right ventricle. Okay, this is the right ventricle, sorry. So the dullness overlies the anterior surface of the right ventricle, means it is like that. So it is covering the this part also. Okay, means it is coming on the right ventricle also. So that's the point. This is not that much important, just remember small things, because only those things are important, those are for viva. Just right now we are actually discussing some like whole lecture, that's why it's not that important. Okay, so that's it for today. If you love the video, then please do mention your friends, please do invite as much as possible, because it gives us motivation to make more videos like this. And thanks a lot.